Mr. Mayor, how are you coping with the high scourge of violence and crime in your city?
Well, it's really a problem. Coming from that background and looking at 75% of all the population in the Western Cape living in the boundaries of the metropole of the city of Cape Town, most of the issues happening in the city of Cape Town, let me say to you, it is still a scary kind of a scenario. All the gangster violence, all the killings, all the shootings, all the rape cases, the lawlessness in general. As government as a whole, we still have an awful lot of work to do. And that is why, luckily for me, coming from a safety background, serving as a community safety MEC for the last 7 years, to implement some of the lessons learned and some of the issues I could not implement at the province, to use my term of office down here at the city to implement.
As Mayor, how do you intend fighting the drug scourge?
Look, it's a dramatic problem for the city. Whatever I can do, what else I can do to assist the police even further. Look, the appointment of extra Metro Police officers to strengthen the Metro Police's drug and gang unit, I think that must happen, that must continue to happen. I will ensure it is happening so that SAPs, even if SAPs run with their own gang unit and drug unit, Metro Police likewise, the two need to work very, very closely together, complementing one another, assisting one another. They really need to showcase what I normally call government as a whole at work. And I think that is what we need to showcase to the public. Look, Metro Police and SAPs must never fight one another. I had a very good relationship with SAPs in general. And I think the police leadership knows that, the political leadership of SAPS knows that. I would love from this position as mayor to continue with that beautiful relationship. But other limitations I detect is, you must remember, we have also budgeted for a large number of CCTV cameras, to install CCTV cameras in all our red-hot areas. I think it's a must. I think I'm glad that council approved that budget, and that tender process is well underway. And we pick up in the communities where adequate, workable CCTV cameras are installed. It is working nicely. Our CCTV camera room can pick up many pictures taken. It's taken to court. Police use the footages, and that is why there's such a lot of arrests and a lot of people that appear in front of the courts.
Communities constantly complain about the drug scourge, how it's affecting their communities, their families. How do you plan to curb this particular problem and to assist them?
Look, there's quite a number of provincial rehabilitation centers open, full operation. I think the issue is, it is too few of them. You must remember, from provincial side, there's in the region of 27 provincial-wide drug rehabilitation centers. And notwithstanding the fact that there is even bigger number of private operational drug rehabilitation centers. But the problem is so vast, it's so massive, that even is not enough. And I think that is what we need to look at. We need to look at how best to develop structure more drug rehabilitation centers. But the other issue for me I want to give you is the fact I am still of the opinion government is dealing with a drug problem in a far too haphazard kind of a manner. I think our laws of the country, it doesn't speak to the real issue, to the real problem. We know who the drug dealers are. We have the dramatic POCA Act in place. Some academia is of the opinion, and even some senior police officers is of the opinion, the Poker Act is a westernized kind of an act. It can't work in South Africa. The fact is, it is not implemented correctly. That is my point. I studied that act more than once. And I'm telling you, all these highfalutin drug lords, they live in Plato, they live in Constantia, in Hout Bay. All the children drive the latest models of car, none of them working. And I want to know, what is it our revenue services are doing about that? Explain to us, where did you get your richnesses from? Where did you work? How did you accumulate the richnesses? I think that is a massive, massive issue for me in South Africa. If we can get at the big guns in the drug world, in the drug and gangster trade. And then secondly, I need to say to you, and government will see it as a little bit of political. All the new drugs entering the country, the new drugs coming from Africa, the new drugs added to the drug problem we have. I am still of the opinion our borders is far, far too open. Each and every looking at all the wrong people in this country from other countries. And here I don't want to say only from Africa. Otherwise it becomes a kind of a thorny political issue. And that's what I'm saying. Looking at as a whole, on the globe, people operating in Cape Town, and they are not here to do honest work. They are using South Africa as a springboard to do dubious work, dubious things. And I can mention you many, many names. And maybe I just need to give you one or two names to steer away from Africa and that sort of thing. But looking at the Gavricks, for instance, involved with the Radawan Kretschers and those people, and their affiliates, and looking at the Chinese mafia, the Moroccan mafia, the Egyptian mafia, the Pakistani mafia, and all those people. And they are not from Africa. And I think sometimes one needs to speak very openly about these things and mention it as it is. And the question is, how can the state think and believe we can put a damper on the drug trade and the underworld trade if we don't stop those people from operating? That's where it needs to begin. There's an old ancient saying. The Afrikaans saying is very beautiful. It says, "Die vis vrot van sy kop af." I think the English-speaking people will say, the fish begin to rot from its head, and that sort of thing. If you don't touch the head, nothing will happen at the bottom. I want to say to you, I've learned during my time at Province that 99% of those in jail for the drug and gangster trade, they are all the yokkies, all the small fry.
The big boys are free.
What are we going to do about the big boys?
Like this again.
Should the South African National Defence Force be brought in to curb the gang-related violence?
I think this nonsense of the military is trained to kill. Yes, why must the gangsters shoot at the military? That's my point of view. What you see in Bonteheuwel is a warfare. It's a warfare against civilians. What you see in Ocean View with all the kids, youngsters killed, it's a warfare against civilians. It must not be like that. And the issue is, if the police cannot stop it, you need some other forces to step in and to say, We had enough. And that other force is your military. Why must gangsters shoot at SAPs with 9 mils? Why must gangsters shoot at SAPs with AK-47s, with machine guns and that sort of thing? And why must they terrorize a community in that manner?
Hey, look up your arm. Look up your arm. Gaat op je knieën.
Ja, is gevallen niet omgeschikt.
Are the police taking the issues of the Western Cape seriously?
Look, I think to a large extent police are serious. I think when I was MEC for Community Safety, National Minister Becky Cele, I had a very good relationship with him, a very good working relationship, even with his Deputy Minister Nkonki. We had no problems. I was allowed to give my input at MINMAC. I was allowed to ask for resources and so on. And Becky Cele, to a large extent, I must say, did react. He availed in the region of 296 plus minus police officers to man our base camps, and in the worst gangster areas, SAPS did place and structure base camps. There was one in Elsie's River, Philippi, Mitchell's Plain, Lavender Hill, Ocean View, and Kraaifontein, and so on, and I think some other areas as well. To ensure there is a constant policing presence in the worst red-hot areas. And I applauded him for that. And also applauded him, you must remember myself and Premier Helen Zille. For the last 10 years, we shout and scream for the gang unit to be reinstated, for the drug unit to be reinstated. And for me, at the time when they disbanded those units, it was a big mistake. And we really felt that mistake they have made. And my message to SAPS is, it's not a case of fighting each other politically. It's a case of looking at the realities of the situation. All political parties, you know, the ANC have a base in the Western Cape, the DA and all other political parties. All the people suffer as a result of wrong decisions, stupid decisions made by policing leadership. So Minister Becky Taylor, at least, he heard our plea, and he reinstated the gang unit and drug unit. Although there is now other problems, but I think it's managerial problems, I think it is leadership problems, I think it is problems they can sort out quite easily. That just needs to happen.
After the break, we talk about solutions in the fight against gangsterism and drugs.